The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Federation stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystalline floor, its vaulted ceiling disappearing into atmospheric processors that maintained perfect conditions for 47 different species. Ambassador Zethkar of the Hegemony adjusted his respiratory apparatus and gazed down at the small bipedal creature standing in the center of the vast space. The human looked impossibly fragile. "This," Counselor Vrexani announced, her forearms gesturing dismissively, "is what seeks membership in our federation, a species that evolved on a gravity-heavy rock with toxic atmospheric composition." Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. The crystalline hierarchs chimed their disapproval in harmonic frequencies that made the chamber walls resonate. The gas giant dwellers of Nox Prime released pheromone clouds expressing their amusement. Captain Sarah Chen stood perfectly still, in the center of it all, her hands clasped behind her back, observing the alien assembly with calm brown eyes. She had volunteered for this mission knowing full well what Earth's xenobiologists had discovered about the galaxy's dominant civilizations. They were all prey species. Every single one. The hegemony had evolved from herd animals on a low-gravity world with abundant resources and no apex predators. The crystalline hierarchs grew like coral formations, slowly and peacefully, on tidally locked planets. The Nox had developed intelligence in the gas clouds of their homeworld, never knowing scarcity or competition for survival. "The preliminary reports are quite telling," Counselor Vrexani continued, manipulating a holographic display with 2 of her arms. "Their homeworld registers as a Class 12 Deathworld, the highest classification in our databases. Gravity nearly Ike. Twice standard. Atmospheric composition that would be lethal to most species. Weather patterns so violent they have specific terminology for catastrophic events." The human delegate, Chen, according to the files, remained motionless. Her breathing was steady, her posture relaxed. But Zethkar noticed something the others missed. Her eyes. They tracked every movement in the chamber, cataloged every exit, assessed every potential threat with the calculating precision of something that had spent millions of years perfecting the art of not dying. Furthermore, Vrexani's voice carried easily across the chamber. "Their species shows clear signs of evolutionary trauma. Redundant organs, extreme stress responses, biochemical processes designed for constant threat assessment. They even leak salt water from their optical organs when experiencing emotional distress." Polite laughter echoed from the gallery where lesser Federation members observed the proceedings. "Their technological advancement appears impressive on the surface," admitted Counselor Thekmore of the Silicon Convergence, his crystalline form refracting light in thoughtful patterns. "But their methodologies are concerning. They test their spacecraft by attempting to destroy them. They prepare for disasters that have probability ratings so low, our computers register them as statistical impossibilities. Because," Captain Chen spoke for the first time, her voice carrying clearly without amplification, "we know that impossible things happen when you least expect them." The chamber fell silent. It was the first time the human had spoken, and something in her tone made several species instinctively shrink back. "We've reviewed your species' history," Zethkar found himself saying. "Constant warfare, resource competition, environmental catastrophes that should have driven you to extinction repeatedly." Chen nodded slowly. "That's correct. And yet, you survived. We did more than survive." For the first time since entering the chamber, Captain Chen smiled. "Ya," was not a pleasant expression. Her lips pulled back to reveal white pointed teeth, the teeth of an omnivore designed to rend and tear. But it was her eyes that made Zethkar's blood run cold. They lit up with something his prey species brain recognized on a genetic level. Predator joy. "We thrived," Chen continued, her smile widening. "Every extinction event made us stronger. Every catastrophe taught us to adapt. Every war showed us new ways to solve problems that seemed impossible." She began walking slowly around the chamber's center, and Zethkar realized with growing horror that every delegate was unconsciously tracking her movement the way small creatures tracked circling hawks. You call our world a Class 12 death world, Chen said conversationally. We call it home. You see our stress responses as signs of trauma. We see them as gifts from evolution. Gifts that let us react faster, think clearer, and fight harder when everything goes wrong. Fight? Vrexani's voice was barely a whisper. Chen's smile became almost gentle. Oh, counselor, you have no idea what that word means, do you? Your species achieved interstellar travel through cooperation and patience. You've never known true scarcity, never faced an enemy that wanted to wipe you from existence. The chamber was dead silent now. We humans have a saying, Chen continued, peace through strength. For us, true peace only exists when we're strong enough to guarantee it. Every human child learns to fight before they learn to read. Every human adult carries the genetic memory of 10,000 generations of survivors who looked at impossible odds and decided to try anyway. She stopped walking and faced the council directly. You think we're weak because our bodies aren't as durable as crystalline matrices or as adaptable as gas-form consciousness. You think we're primitive because we plan for disasters and build weapons just in case. But let me share something with you. Captain Chen reached into her uniform and withdrew a small device. Half the delegates flinched. This is a standard human emergency beacon, she said, holding up what appeared to be a simple metal cylinder. Every human ship carries thousands of them. Would you like to know what the emergency protocol is when a human vessel encounters a hostile force that outmatches them? She didn't wait for an answer. First, we send a distress signal. Then we ram the enemy at maximum velocity while simultaneously detonating our entire antimatter supply. Her smile was now genuinely warm, and somehow that made it infinitely more terrifying. We call it making sure the next guys know what happened here. Counselor Vrexani made a sound that might have been a whimper. But here's the thing, Chen said, putting the beacon away. We didn't come here to threaten you. We came here to join you, to share what we've learned about survival, about adaptation, about turning impossible situations into victories. She spread her arms wide, encompassing the entire chamber. Your Federation has maintained peace for 10,000 years through diplomacy and cooperation. That's beautiful. But what happens when you encounter something that doesn't want to cooperate? Something that sees your peace as weakness and your cooperation as an invitation? The silence stretched on until Zethkar found himself speaking. What are you proposing? Captain Chen's expression became serious, professional. Partnership. You provide us with technology, trade routes, and cultural exchange. We provide you with something you've never had and hopefully never need. Which is insurance, she said simply. We're the species that looks at a Class 12 death world and calls it a bit rough. We're the ones who see extinction-level events as interesting challenges. When something comes along that threatens everything you've built, you call us. She paused, then added with that terrifying smile, and we'll show it what happens when you mess with our friends. The vote was unanimous. Later, as Captain Chen's ship departed for Earth with a full Federation membership charter, Zethkar stood at an observation deck watching the human vessel accelerate toward the outer system. Its hull bore scars from micrometeorite impacts and radiation scoring, battle damage that the humans considered normal wear. Do you think we made the right choice? Asked Counselor Vrexani, joining him at the window. Zethkar watched the ship disappear into hyperspace, carrying news of humanity's acceptance back to their death world home. Soon there would be human ships at Federation stations, human advisors in Federation councils, human children playing alongside the young of 47 other species. Ask me again, he said quietly. The first time something tries to invade our space and discovers that the Federation is protected by a species that evolved to treat impossible odds as a Tuesday afternoon. As if in response to his words, space itself seemed to shiver slightly. The aftershock of a ship transitioning to faster-than-light travel, with the casual confidence of apex predators heading home to their death world. For the first time in his life, Zethkar was grateful to be on humanity's side.